Happy Halloween! Welcome and welcome to my 21st video. Today is Halloween and I am here to discuss my journey to Sardinia and back. Grab a beverage of your choice. Come sit with me, chat with me, and just sit back and enjoy. There'll be a lot of pictures and some videos. So welcome in, my friends. My name is Debbie. I'm also known as Nana, and this channel is Dreamcrafted Creations. And here I will discuss with you all types of fiber art crafting I do, and retreats I go on, and festivals I visit, and stay tuned. So right now I'm going to discuss my trip to Sardinia, and it was wonderful, wonderful. I have nothing bad to say about it. I do have something to say about the traveling part. Going there, we were fine, smooth sailing. And I thought the same thing would be going back. And wait, let me get back into this again. The jet lag is real. No one prepared me for the jet lag, but thank God we went a day early because I was able to, get my inner clock back in order and catch up with some sleep. I never thought I would actually be that tired. I had woke up Monday morning, and Tuesday evening at 10 o'clock was our flight out to Germany, and then to switch over to Sardinia. And on that flight, I did not sleep. And it was like this. There wasn't a lot of knitting that went on. I did try to close my eyes and just get some rest, but I absolutely did not sleep. And getting there, we checked into the first hotel, which was really not part of the retreat, but that was the layover because the next morning the retreat started at 10:30 a.m. And so that was the night I had the aha moment when we had gone out for a little dinner, Irina and I'm going to post pictures as I talk along in here just to show you, the events that went on. And when we got back to the hotel that night, we kind of just sat in the waiting room a little bit, met a few people, did a little knitting, and all of a sudden the exhaustion just took over. And I thought, I'm just going to go to bed. And I did. And it was like 9 o'clock. And by 10, by 11, by 12, I just couldn't fall asleep. I didn't put a TV on, but it was real. And I think I fell asleep at like 2 o'clock in the morning, which was probably 8 p.m. my time here, and got about 4 hours of sleep. So I was able to catch up on enough to make it through the next day. And that's when we visited a cheese-making restaurant farm where the goats were. There was a bunch of chickens, but we first made our way over to this farm. I'll get the name of the restaurant and put it up here. And they were teaching us how they made the cheese. It was a soft cheese, I believe. They called it pepperino. I'll get the correct name of that too. But I think there was also like a regatta that was made at the same time. But it was very interesting. And then we sat down. We had more than enough food all the time. The food just always kept coming, course after course. And it was the cheese was served, and there was a dessert with the ricotta type cheese in it that had some type of honey, I believe. It looked a little bit like a turnover. Unfortunately, I don't think I got pictures of that because, like I said, I was coming off of not a lot of sleep and just trying to focus on, what we were doing. And then we proceeded to be able to go outside and see the sheep. There was a couple of sheep there and a baby little lamb that I'll show you up here. And then we walked around and they had chickens from like all over the world. And unfortunately, I didn't get pictures of that either. But I did find out that it's like a learning farm. So, I think children would come and they teach them about the different species of chickens and all that. But that was lovely. That was the first day. And we did do a lot of minivan trips to get back to the hotel and to whatever event we were going, which normally would be like an hour to an hour and a half. So the hotel we stayed at for the retreat was beautiful. We made our way back there. Gongolo, I believe. I'll get the wording and put it up here as well. But sorry, I'm coming off of 2 days just back and recovering from this jet lag I just had to go through. Yesterday, I was really dragging, but I still had to, do work in my office, grocery shop, all the normal things we all have to do every day anyways. And then all my little children came over to visit me, which I missed them a lot. And so if I'm kind of off sometimes, that's why my clock's just getting back in order. But it is Halloween. And I hope I will get this up today, Halloween, as it is Halloween. So we went to the cheese farm, went back to the hotel, beautiful hotel. A woman and husband, I believe, who own it. She's an artist, an architect. So it's very artsy and beautiful. Tons of embroidery around and paintings and sculptures. I have a lot of picture and video that you'll see here. And yeah, it just was beautiful. And the restaurant there was magnificent. It was a very, old Italian style. And again, course after course after course of meals. So we were never suffering for food, trust me. Breakfast was included every morning. I never eat breakfast at home. But here on this retreat, I had scrambled eggs and bacon and croissants, coffee, juices, any type of pastry, yogurt, granolas. It was all there. And then we usually, would have breakfast, meet out in the lobby and go on for whatever event was for that day. So right now, I'm going to tell you, there was not a lot of knitting going on. I thought a knitting retreat, we would have a lot of sit at the end of the night and knit by the fire, what have you. But, we were exhausted by the end of the day. And I believe the second day we set out for some museums. I believe there was 3 museums that we saw. One was the shepherds, all about the shepherds of Sardinia. You have to remember, Sardinia is known for all its textiles. The Thread of the Tradition. This is the book I walked away with. And so, let me go back. The first museum I believe we saw was of all the old tapestries, and I will show you a lot of pictures. And in this museum tour, we were supposed to get some type of inspiration as we would, move on to a workshop for learning how to incorporate that into some colorwork patterns. So that was very interesting to learn about. And then from there, I believe that was a pretty long tour, and there was a lot of walking involved. And we also went to a plaza to be able to go shopping on our own. However, it was like siesta time by the time we got there, so everything was closed. But we did find this beautiful restaurant, which was actually like a clothes store boutique. I'll put the name up here. And we did eat lunch there, which was fabulous as well. All the food is fabulous. And then we made our way back to the hotel. So every day was totally fulfilled. And I think the third day was the two other museums, which were the costumes that the people wore in Sardinia and the shepherds and how they lived. And it was very cultural. It taught us a lot about the island and, you know, how it began. We actually even went to some ruins, which were from BC, and that was very interesting. We walked through that. And again, what did we do after that? Where did we end up that day? It always ended up with food someplace, and then back to the hotel at night. And I think this night when we went back, it was the third or fourth night, there were some tenor singers that they called them at the hotel, and I'll put them up here.
A cosa sul destino ti ha tornato
to listen in on that for a very short period of time because, like I said, each day was so full packed. I barely could keep my eyes open at the end of the night. And then the day before we were leaving, we ended up going into the grottos, and that was beautiful. We walked through. We had a boat ride there. We walked through. We came back. We went to a beach. We were able to sit and knit for a while, have lunch on the beach. It was just spectacular. There's nothing bad I could say about this retreat. There was wonderful people involved. There was I think there was 18 of us. There was a couple of two married couples that came, so there was two men as well. Lots of lovely people I met, and I'm sure to see some of them again, maybe at another retreat. Some of these people had already come from a retreat through Rowan Tours that this tour was, put out by, and they had been in Milan, and then they went to this retreat. So it seems like it's a very repeat tour that people do, and I can see why. It was managed very well. We had a wonderful tour guides, Sydney and Haley. Haley did the color workshop with us, and that I do want to show you. That was the last day, and what that was about was taking the inspiration, like I told you, from the tapestries that we saw, and she gave us these graph books, and we were supposed to take the inspiration, which I will put my picture up here of what the inspiration was, and then we put it on to a chart. And I have to kind of go back now because we used the yarn to swatch our charts from visiting La Robia, which was one of the days we went. It's a fiber art store, yarns, dyeing yarn, textiles, little pouches, scarves, bags, purses, and besides dyeing the yarn, we were also shown how the woman who owned the shop, she took scarves, and again, I'll have pictures here, and she put all types of leaves and branches and the natural dyes from the different plants, put them all on a piece of fabric, rolled it up, soaked it in some type of medium for a week, then unrolled it, and it just was all printed by the different natural dyes and the shapes of the leaves and the branches and the berries. And they were just beautiful. I actually probably should have bought one, but I didn't. So next time. But the yarn we dyed, let me show you, was in these colors, which was a mustardy color, a purple, and then here's your natural white, and then an indigo blue. So we were to take all these colors and incorporate them into the design that inspired us, that we made, and we were to do that. I've got another knitting project on here, into a swatch, which you can't see any of this right now, but I'm starting my swatch. I don't know if you can see any of it, but there's a little bit of it, and I will bring this back at another time to show you when I'm done swatching and how the design came out. So there was a lot. I probably should have had it on a piece of paper to talk to you about, but that's just how I roll, and I didn't. But I hope you enjoy all the pictures, the different videos, and I would highly recommend one of these tours with Rowan Tree. They have multiple tours you can go on, and hopefully you'll stay till the end, because I am going to reveal to you another tour I will be going on. And besides this Sardinia trip, I did want to talk about Rhinebeck. So the last video I did with you, and I looked back at it, and I can't even tell you how exhausted I was putting that video up. But I wanted to let you know that I was going there and that I was planning for this trip to Italy. And I was tired. The next morning, I got up real early. I had to be in Woburn, which was probably, and I met a friend, so we went from her house, and it was probably about a half an hour from her house. We got there at 6. We boarded a bus of 50 people, and it took us about 4 hours to get there. And it was like the plane. It was like this. It was hard to knit, to do anything. I had brought this big bag thinking I could, it was a luxury bus. I was going to be able to put it under my feet, but I couldn't. I had to stick it up on top. It fell on someone. Didn't hurt them, but it was cramped. We did get to Rhinebeck, and, I'm going to show you pictures here. It was, I don't know. There were so many vendors there, so many people there. It just wasn't what I expected. I did not expect it to be this crowded. And because it was this crowded, it's all set up to go into these different warehouses and barns. And it was shoulder to shoulder. I actually thought I was going to walk out with some type of virus. That's how close together all the people were. I couldn't even videotape anything if I wanted to. It just was packed. The first vendor that I actually ended up meeting in there was Toft. And I've always wanted to do a Toft toy. 1 minute. So, the Toft toy, if you've never seen, here's their book, Toft. And she had all these sheep, lambs, all made up. This one's like a ram. And they were all made up. And then, but, for an example, but then you could buy the kit to make, different. This is a lamb. Let me show you the one I got. And they were just so cute. They actually ran out of colors because they were so popular. Look at this one. Is that not cute? But mine's not that curly. I think I got this one. I think this is mine that I'm going to be doing, but it's not black. I think it was all the cream color. So I'm really excited to do that. That will be in crochet. Yeah, all these colors right here. And I've seen these on a lot of people's YouTubes, and I know they're in trying to think. Oh, look I got a little patch and I didn't even know. So cute. Ed's Animals patches. We'll have to put that on something. So this was kind of the color tone mine are going to be that I was going with. And I'm not sure where Toft is out of. I will write it up here, but I know that getting it out of the country was, I just never ordered one yet. So when I saw this, I was like, great, this is perfect. So this was one of my purchases. And I can't wait to get started on that because I do like to make toys. And then we proceeded out and we went over, where did we go? I don't know. It was so crowded. I have pictures here. We ended up going back, I guess they call it over to the hill. And over there, I ended up meeting a lot of people from my knit group. Irina was there because she does the fiber chats, and she was talking to a lot of people. And Andrea Mari was there, and the lines for her were incredible. The ooey gooey sweater, I've never seen more ooey gooey sweaters in my life. All the people wearing them, it just was amazing. And at some point we just sat there and kind of people watched and had a glass of wine. We did make our way back into another barn, and again, it was so crowded I couldn't even really browse. I really couldn't. But what I did buy was, and I'll show you, when I made my, well, this one fell apart, but I got some sock yarn right here. I like this. These were on sale. I think it was 2 for $30. So they were only $15 each. That wasn't bad. And then this one's just a little bit more pink. And what's the name of this vendor? Hold on, let me get my glasses. Herd of Cats presents Road Trip Sock Yarn. This yarn was hand-dyed with love in Denver, Colorado by Ali Pate. roadsockyarn@gmail.com. So, yeah, this is actually made in the USA. And I liked these colors, so I just picked these. This was kind of just on a whim. And getting back to socks and back to the Sardinia trip, because we didn't have a lot of knitting time, the only thing I knit and finished was one sock, and I still have to do the heel because this is a vanilla sock pattern. And this sock comes from this blank, and this is from the Unruly Stitch, my local yarn store, and Anu herself dyed these blanks, and they're pretty cool. So you've got this very vibrant dyeing, and then when you knit it up, it gets very subdued and light color. So I did finish one, and I have to do the afterthought heel. And then coming home, I started this one, but I realized I messed up the toe. So I am actually going to rip this out and restart it, because what I did forget to mention, and I am all over the road here, I get it, but coming back from Sardinia, we had a flight canceled, we had 2 delayed planes, we had to run through the airport like Giselle's, as Irina would say, and by the time I got to the last flight to get home, the exhaustion was unbelievable. So I literally just had to kind of sit there on this 7-hour trip and decompress, because it was a lot trying to get home. I never experienced, any type of cancellations. I have had delays before, but not when you have to, catch another flight. And it just was hairy scary. It really was. And we made it though, and it was all because we were in good shape and we could run through the airport. So my suggestions to you, if you want to travel internationally, and you better be in good shape because you might have to run to your next destination. But anyways, so that was my flying experience. And getting back to Rhinebeck, I got the sock yarn. I did this on the plane. And I got these as heels. These are the heels for these. This one has this heel, and this one has this heel. So I don't know. I'm kind of into the socks. Maybe they'll be gifts for people. If not, I like to wear them around the house in the winter instead of like a heavy slipper. I do like the handmade socks. So that is in the future for some of my knits for my stash. And the other thing at Rhinebeck I got was, so these yarns, and I have to remember the type of knitting this is for. Assigned pooling. This is Versailles Deluxe sock yarn, and it's a chick that knits. And if you don't know what assigned pooling is, I'm going to try to get a picture of the shawl that I want to make. But basically, what I've been told is this major part of the yarn, this plum, is dyed all down at one time, and then you have different sections of these little color sections. So you knit, and when you get to those color sections, you do some type of rosette or flower pattern. I don't have the pattern yet, so when I start getting into that, I will definitely show you assigned pooling. And the other color I got for this was a gray with a pink, and they had I don't know if I have a picture. If I have a picture, I will put it up here of the pattern I want to do. But as far as yarn, buying at Rhinebeck, that's what I got. I did not have a lot of time at all. I mean, we had the time, but it was really hard to browse around. I think I didn't go to one whole entire section. Because I wanted to go visit Junction Fiber Mill, and I didn't even make it over there. We did make it into a barn that was not yarn related, and I bought some honey, and they had all different kinds of other, notions and pottery and bags and stuff like that. But it was an exhausting day. We got back to the bus at 4. So we got there at like 10 or 11, and we had till 4. I think we had till 3:30 because she wanted us to get back at the bus at 4 because she said there was going to be a lot of traffic, and all of a sudden there's some type of accident. So again, a 3-hour trip turned into 4. We didn't end up getting back to the bus station till about 10 at night. I don't think I got home till about 11. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I would like to be able to go to Rhinebeck and really experience it and go through all the buildings, but that's not how it worked for me this year. So I'm glad I did get the experience, but I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't able to see as much as I wanted to. So that's my take on Rhinebeck for this year. The other thing I was doing that I showed you in a previous video was the West Knits MusiKal. And I was only able to get through part of Clue 1 because getting ready for the trip, going to Rhinebeck, when that started, I just didn't have any time. It wasn't anything I was going to bring on a plane to Sardinia because, it's very you have to follow the pattern. It's, so a sock to me was simple and easy, and I wouldn't have had any time to do it anyways. So am I going to finish that, or am I going to be West Knits dropout? I do want to get it done. I do want to get it done. I don't want to waste the yarn. If anything, I would like to have it done for next March, because March, next destination is Switzerland, the Swiss Yarn Festival through Rowan Tree Tours. And that's what you'll hear me talking about next year, in April, all about my tour to Switzerland. So I'm glad you stayed till the end to hear about what my next tour will be and my experiences with Rhinebeck and what I plan for my West Knits MusiKal. And I hope to see you again soon. If you're new here, thank you for clicking in. And if you've been watching me, thank you for coming back. And as always, please leave me a comment. Let's chit chat a little. And again, happy Halloween. Bye.